The opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the individuals and do not reflect any official view of the United Steelworkers, USW, Local 105, or its officers or sub-board members for officers. Now, from the banks of the mighty Mississippi, this is Steel Revolution.
This is going to be the time where we actually go and don't stop. Sean's hot. Temperature-wise.
All right, let's go.
Anyway, early morning. Maybe that's what's got people going. Early morning recording. Thanks to Sean. I will be saying I'm slacking. Didn't listen to the full episode of 5, and great editing going on.
I think it's one of the best ones yet.
Mike, you're gonna have to talk into the mic.
No.
Oh, big show today. Got our first guest, Rick Ramirez.
Hi, everybody.
Oh, Rick has learned the hard way on this early morning recording that you got to be careful what you say and when you say, because Sean will edit you into the podcast.
He's always recording.
So I still forget that Sean can't play audio while we're actually recording, because I was ready for Sean to put something in there, which I'm sure he will when he edits. We'll go to the local news.
It's not fair.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
We got the baseball game coming up.
Saturday night, 6 o'clock. We still got a lot of tickets left. So hopefully Sean will have this up before then. So if you want tickets, come down and get them, $9 a piece.
So yeah, and it is Beer Stein night, right?
Yeah. First 1,500, get a beer stein.
So not only Solidarity Night, but Beer Stein night. And also to remind everybody that we will have a Solidarity March on September 17th in downtown Moline. Local businesses that's participating in that would be Bricks, Bent River Brewery, and O'Keefe's. And I know Lee Schaefer's working hard on some of them. They're giving us some pretty good deals and stuff to raffle off, so that'll be a good time. More information to come out in the forerunner on that. Other local news, the hats off to the Next Gen Committee. They donated $300 for school supplies that were handed out at the Peace in the Parks event on this last Saturday, which would have been, I'm going to date the podcast, would have been the 20th of August. Rick Ramirez and Donnie Pearson of the Civil and Human Rights Committee took those supplies over and helped hand it out. Rick, do you want to comment on the event?
Yeah, the event was really great. It was really an amazing feeling. I wasn't expecting to see so many participants. We handed out book bags, a lot of glue.
That's my fault. I went crazy. I'm purchasing the glue.
And it was just great to give back to the community. And, Davenport Police were there. A couple other boots on the ground, which, Human and Civil Rights, we do a lot with them right now. So overall, great turnout. It was a great feeling. And, if you have some time, a couple hours out of, your day, maybe, some of the listeners would like to get out there and participate and support the local union and steelworkers out there. So it's just great to be in the community. So I enjoyed it.
Yeah, we'll look for, of course, our business meetings, and the forerunner is going to be places where we'll put that opportunities to volunteer through our committees. Moving on to the USW news, the Glass, Molders, Pottery, Plastic, and Allied Workers International Union overwhelmingly approved a merger with the United Steelworkers at their 75th convention. Let's see, they represent 25,000 craft and industrial workers, primarily in glass foundries, molding, plastic, and pottery, as well as ceramics, china, fiberglass, and insulation and other industries. The merger will undoubtedly strengthen and benefit our members in the glass industry and beyond. That was a quote from USW International President Leo Gerard.
And I think that picks us up 3 or 4 more locals in Iowa alone. So
Yeah, so welcome to those guys. Welcome aboard. Also, was it last 2 weeks ago was the District 11 convention, Mike? Somewhere roughly around there?
2 weeks ago, yep.
We did have several members go down there. A group of Women of Steel had theirs, and I know they spent a lot of time talking about the ERT, which is a program that the steelworkers got, which I believe probably a lot of people, at our local and that don't understand exactly what ERT is or does. And I know our own Mike Nicholas here is a member. So, Mike, could you let the listeners know what the ERT program is and does and what you do?
Yeah, talking a little bit about the ERT program. It's a program you never want to have to use, but if you do have to use it, we have trained several people, trained at least 2 to 3 for each district, that if there's a fatality or a catastrophic injury, we help the local union, we help the family, we help the victim, basically get things they need, get things done that they need get done. If the company's not cooperating, we go talk to the company, we work with them. Basically be an advocate for the family and the victim. So it's not somebody you ever want to see, but when we're there, hopefully we can help anybody, and that goes from the victim all the way down to a witness to the family. And we've even helped salary individuals. If it happens at a plant that we represent, we go and respond and help them. So
Yeah, that's something I always tell my wife, hey, if something happens to me, you have the hall. Call the hall. They'll help you. Make sure you're getting taken care of. No matter what. If it happens outside, they'll help you with making sure you get everything that's coming to you from the company, whatnot. That is a resource that we got to help us. Not only the company, but the union. You just can't. If you're not in a union shop, who do you got to go to? You only got the company. You don't have anybody else to help you out.
Yeah, I mean, they train us to deal with the company, and I've even worked with a non-union company in my hometown where there was a fatality, and I went and worked with the family and worked with the guys at the facility, and they owed me nothing, I owed them nothing, but we were able to help them through it and get the family the help they needed.
So some companies are probably better than others, right? I mean, I know we have a whole section on here. The corporations are coming where we like to bash the corporations, but now there is a few though, because I like to always have some glimmer of hope. I mean, I think you.
Man, I just talked about one last week. There are some companies that surprise you and actually scare you and bend over backwards to help the family, help the victim, do what's right, even though they know there's impending litigation, stuff like that. They don't care. They want to do what's right for the victim. And then there's other companies that want to hang the phone up, want to threaten restraining orders, want to send you to their lawyers, don't want to do anything to help, and sometimes you got to trick them. I mean, the stories out there of a gentleman who passed away, and company didn't want to do anything, so the ERT representative went to the company and said, "Okay, we're going to do a bucket collection. Will you guys match it?" And the company said, "Yeah, we can do that." So the local union went out and they did their bucket collection, but they also went out to some local businesses and requested that they donated, and then overall they got like $14,000 in their bucket collection, and the company had to match it. So had the company just paid for a simple funeral, that's all they were asking for, but instead they had to write a check for $13,000. So there's ways you got to do that with companies that aren't cooperating with you, and then there's some that will bend over backwards for you. So
yeah, I mean, there's one that I know of through my wife that somebody's dad was working at a retail chain in retirement and was one of the major one, like Walmart. And what happened is that he was out working, was working in the garden center, and was trying to back in a truck. The semi-truck actually ran him over, killed him, and there was something like all they wanted to do was give $60,000. So that's a upcoming deal. So I mean, that's how much really your life's worth to some of these companies.
Damn the man.
Yeah, but I think you're right, Roy. We don't give enough credit to the companies that actually do step up and take care of their employees and do what's right and pay for the, because there's a lot of things involved, from simple things like food, clothing, hotels, to how do you take care of your kids while you're with your husband or your wife in the hospital and stuff like that. So kudos to the companies that do step up, and fuck you to the ones that don't.
That's right.
I feel like I should have a Rage Against the Machine T-shirt on or some music.
Yeah. All right, so we do have like we introduced earlier, a guest, and the reason why one of the reasons why we wanted to have Rick on here, not only to have a first guest, so we could get that under our belt, but to have Rick on here. Rick's out on political for the International, and went to Pittsburgh, got some training. We get some more local training here, but wanted to give Rick a chance to kind of say what's going on and what he's doing, and give any insight into what's going on.
All right. Well, thank you guys for allowing me to be your first guest. It's definitely not a highlight of my life.
Gee, thanks. I appreciate that, Rick.
No, but thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. It's. I
didn't think that was funny.
I thought it was funny, but yeah. So I got to go out to Pittsburgh, and I'm out. Out for the next several months on for political, and I'll be volunteering. And the training was really superb. I'd never been out to Pittsburgh before. I got to see Leo speak, which is our president. He was really, energetic and, captivating. So I don't know if, our members out there have, even seen a video, but, you should definitely, YouTube him. Maybe you guys should throw something up there. It's definitely inspirational. Makes you, feel proud to be a union member. So my role in the next several months will be to get people out, get people out volunteering, register to vote. Also, I'll be out in the local community here, and I think I'll go speak to a couple of the other union halls in our district, District 11. So, overall, I'll definitely be in the plant too, doing some voter registration. I think we're gonna try to get. Did Brad say that we're gonna try to go to the what's that, the wellness fair or something, right?
Yeah, we're working on getting some voter registration in the plant, whether it's at the gate or at that, and then having another one down here at the hall.
Okay, so a lot of things going on. I'm kind of, when I first took this role, I didn't really know what I was, what I got myself into, and so far it's been, it's definitely been a little overwhelming, but it's got a great support staff here, and I look forward to it. Knocking doors, talking to people, using the food phone bank, and we really got to get our members informed, and I think that's the most important part. Especially in my role. I don't think it's my job to persuade you to vote either way, but I think as steel workers and being union members, we need to be in complete solidarity on who we vote for, because it affects our lives, our kids' lives, and our grandkids' lives, especially, at the local level that can really touch us. So, I know I have an uphill battle, but, I'm definitely up for the challenge. So,
like you said, it's about the education, getting out and educating our members on the issues and where people stand. So,
yeah, and that's the thing that, we really need to ask ourselves, and especially you guys, up here, when we do have the business meetings to say, hey, we need to educate our members and honestly go, what are the issues that are important to us? TPP, fair trade, the more jobs that we have here, it's better for all of us. And people really, a lot of people don't have the education, and, they get on, Facebook or Twitter, and you kind of go, wow, I can't believe that person, posted that, or they agree with something that extreme. And it's, like I said, I don't want to persuade anybody to vote any which way or the other, but to get the actual facts. And that's going to be the hardest thing, because there's a lot of garbage out there, and, and a lot of it's, foggy, so. Right.
And like what I believe Mike has said before too is, and a lot of people, is the presidential race is really, you're usually one side or the other, though I've even spoken to some of my friends that are more Republican, and you give them enough of what Trump has said, and they're like, I don't think I can support that. But the main issue is like you said, Rick, you touched on. There's a lot of local issues that have a bigger effect on us, and if you look at the stuff that Obama hasn't been able to do because of the Senate and the House, those, I mean, okay, you're not going to vote for either one, the president, or you're not happy, but hey, you got other stuff that is a big deal to you. So the local races, and if that's whether it's the Iowa representatives or just the state representatives, that's as important, if not more.
Absolutely, and I think we need to drive that point home, because right now Republican has become a dirty word. Once you say it, everybody's like, oh God. But yeah, do I like shooting guns? Yeah, I like shooting guns. And people are like, oh, Hillary Clinton's going to take my guns away, and I tell them, I'm like, hey, did Barack and Michelle show up at your house? Did they take your? No. Okay, so I understand everybody's point of view, but like you said, Roy, you got to get out there, you got to get informed, and you got to make the right choice, and you got to think about the person that is working next to you, your fellow union brother and sister, and what's really going to, what's the best for them as well. It's not, maybe, you're, through and through 100% Republican, but maybe that candidate isn't the right candidate for the whole, for what we're trying to accomplish, so it's going to be good.
Right, and there's more and more coming out. I've seen lately that at least when it comes to the presidential race, the Republican nominee does not represent or people that have been Republicans in the past. They just say, nope, he's not for me. Doesn't represent what I believe, and they're not saying they're going to vote for Hillary. Some of them, they're saying that they're going to vote, whoever else, somebody else. But more and more, you start hearing that. Moving on to Illinois news for the local state. Illinois is running through their rainy day fund due to budget impasse. What should be, they said, 1.5 to 3 billion to help weather economic downturn is now at 180 million.
And now I see, as of this morning, we're down to about 100 million.
So these are all during their inability to sign a budget. Still has to pay for the state still has to pay for pension payments, the state employee payroll, services to disabled people and foster children. So with having to pay for that, they took it out of the rainy day fund, yep, since they didn't have a budget. Illinois is the top, or the ranked as the least prepared to go into an economic downturn. Those states that are best prepared include Alaska, which has a independent governor, West Virginia, that has a Democrat, and Nebraska, that has a Republican, which has only been in there for 2 years, so I'm going to say he's just slow to wreck their budget. Otherwise, it'll happen.
I'm surprised Minnesota's not sitting up there too.
Yeah. Do you know, out of those states that you just listed, Roy, are they right to work states or what?
I did not research that part.
Okay. And that's a great thing.
You just called him out.
Oh, did I? I'm
that
sorry.
Wasn't good for him.
No, it wasn't. Okay.
You're not welcome back now.
Well, maybe apparently this will be my last time as a guest on this podcast.
I thought I made that clear that I was going to throw you under the bus.
Okay.
Not you throw me under the bus.
And that's a great point that I wanted to bring up, is that right to work state. You got people out there that they can choose to be in a union or not a union, and what's going on in Illinois, it's not a good thing. They've had a lot of budget problems, and we all know Illinois. How many governors have gone to jail in Illinois in the past? I mean, there's what?
We've had 3 that have been in jail.
Yeah, I mean, so we know that the state's not ran efficiently.
Yeah, and it's not a Democrat or Republican thing either. It's across the board.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now when you look at the least prepared of states for a economic downturn, Kansas, Republican governor, Arkansas, Republican governor, and New Jersey, Krispy Kreme state,
Republican
is
governor.
a Republican governor, which is another one that is the least prepared. So, also, they got most of the information from the article from the Associated Press, said that as of Friday, which would have been the 20th, or let's see, the 12th of August, that Illinois' backlog in unpaid bills is $7.5 billion.
Yep. And they expect that rainy day fund to be gone within the next week and a half anyway. So
I don't know about you, but if I ever miss a bill, I usually get a nasty letter in the mail. I don't know about them. But remember, as we said in last shows, Rauner just gave some the Illinois richest tax cuts.
well, and his answer to that is we just need to raise taxes, except on his buddies. We'll raise tax on the working class instead.
Yeah, and then we'll strip the state workers' pension. The promise that was part of them
Yep.
spending time away from their families. We'll just take their pensions away. In other Rauner news, he has vetoed an automatic registration to vote. Again, I would say we know what that does. That takes away the votes for, say, people that would probably vote Democrat, most likely.
And it's while I was in Pittsburgh, Roy, I forget Tim's last name, but he was speaking, and in the state of Texas, your military ID as a U.S. member of the armed forces, you can't use that to register to vote. But let's say I believe it's either their gun card or something like that they have, that they can utilize that. And I'm like, at this day and age in this beautiful country of ours, the men and women that serve, they can't use that form of ID. I mean, me, being a veteran, I think that card you should be able to use that card anywhere. And that's just another, tactic not to get people to get out, and have their voices heard. And it's shame on Texas,
Well, yeah, I don't know how many homeless vets are there, and they may not have a driver's license or whatever. When you think of like Wisconsin, where you have to have your driver's license, to register to vote, all it is new forms of what am I trying to say?
Voter suppression.
Yep, exactly. That's what I was looking for. Thanks, Mike.
I'll help you out. Sorry.
So, Rauner said that he thinks it would have an automatic voter registration would be a threat of non-citizens voting to register and casting ballots. But as we said before, it's just another way of voter suppression. One of our favorite representatives from Iowa had said that he is in favor of Donald Trump's wall, but Steve King has said that he would first put up a fence and then go 100 feet and put up the wall, and then go another 100 feet and put up a fence. So I'm guessing Steve must have some people in the fence business he wants to get some money for.
Has to.
Does he want Mexico to build that wall and fence?
He's on board with Trump, so that must be added to the Mexico's bill.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Also said, this was at the Iowa State Fair, also said in a quote, I also know that I have sat across the table from Hillary Clinton, eye to eye, and when you're working outside the staff and outside the press, she is somebody I can work with.
And so when you look at somebody like that who's been hardcore against her, hardcore Trump, and now slowly moving to the middle of the field, just like the rest of them. So we'll see how many more come that way.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think that, sitting back and reading and trying to get as much information as I possibly can, you're starting to see a lot of hardcore Republicans go, I don't know about this, So hopefully that trend continues.
Well, it's the constant flipping back and forth. It's the same thing that Trump does. I want to say one thing, and then later on I'm going to retract it a little bit, just to get something else out there in the press, so I can keep my voters. They could say, well, he made a mistake, but then he changed his mind. It's the same. It's constant. Moving on. Speaking of Trump, thanks for the segue. So, Robert De Niro compares Trump to his to the taxi driver, the role he played in that movie, and is quoted as to say, "What he has been saying is totally crazy, ridiculous stuff like that shouldn't even. He's totally nuts."
And that's coming from Bobby D. Like, I mean, he's one of the greatest actors of our time. And if that guy's like, yeah, he's nuts. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen, name some of his classic movies. Where's the one? Was it Cape Fear? Remember that one?
Rick, you're a little older than me, so.
Okay. All right. I see. I'm just gonna throw me under the bus. I look good for 40, damn it. But yeah, he played a complete psycho. And if that guy's like, he's crazier than me.
Yeah.
You know we're in trouble.
Yes.
We really are.
Yeah, Trump still will not release his taxes. Now, according to, I believe it's a New York Times, New York Post, that, for example, one of his office buildings, an Avenue of Americas in Manhattan, which Trump is part owner of, carries a $950 million loan. Among the lenders, this is what's interesting, the Bank of China.
Oh, that's great. Funny thing about Trump, while I was up in Pittsburgh, they had a couple things to say about Trump, of course, and none of them were really great. But the thing that really surprised me is this guy, he's walking around saying, hey, he wants to make America great again. I want to get America working. But, it's a fact that this guy outsourced, like close to 70-80% of the actual, the building materials from, his hotels and whatnot. And how do you think that's going to get America working again? I believe it was Jimmy Fallon David Letterman.
David Letterman.
Yeah. And he had a skit, and he was like, okay, where's your jacket made from? It was like Bangladesh. Where's your tie made from?
China.
It was China, And it's just like, how can a guy run around and say, I'm going to get America working again and get America great? No.
Yeah, that's part. Trump says just enough to get people to say, oh, yeah, I think that's so. So your regular white collar blue collar workers. Blue collar workers are gonna go for him because he says just enough to say, oh yeah, trade hurt my job, or somebody I know, he's against it, I'm gonna vote for him, or he's gonna make America great again, I'm gonna vote for him. But when you look at what he really does in his personal dealings, you'll find out that that's not the case.
Yeah, something near and dear to our heart is TPP, and that's going to affect us. And I don't know, like I said, you're going to hopefully get informed and vote the right way. And but it's kind of hard to sit there and listen to a guy that's really never worked a day in his life. You look at Hillary Clinton, she's been doing this for 30 plus years, starting, when she was back in college, helping local children out down in Arkansas. Who's Donald Trump help? I mean, seriously, no. Ask yourself that question. Besides himself and his buddies, that's about it. And we can all sit there and say, well, he hasn't been in politics for a while. Make no mistake, he's been in politics, since he's been in business.
But you're exactly right, and that's what some people keep saying. I don't want a politician. Politicians screw things up. I want a businessman. Well, you picked the wrong business guy. I mean, look at the businessmen around the country that have decided to jump into politics. Our idiot Governor Rauner being one of them. What has he done in the last 18 months to Illinois? He sure as hell ain't made it better. So what do you think a businessman's going to do to help America, especially one that outsources everything to other countries and hates unions? I mean, he's not going to do a damn thing for the middle class.
Right. Not only outsources, but then brings in foreign labor to work at his golf courses. And
he brought in several crews from Poland apparently, and I just can't believe that people honestly believe him. Like they think that he's going to be good for us, and it's not good.
All right, and you're talking about a businessman, and I want a businessman. Okay, well, you owe this much to China. What part of the businessman don't you think he's going to cut some sort of a deal with China or something to alleviate maybe the debt on this property, and that's just what he's going to do.
Oh, absolutely. Anybody out there with a conscience, honestly has to sit back and say, this is not where we need to go. This is not the direction for the greatest country ever. It's not a good look. And it's sad that that's the best that they have to offer. It really is.
But you said he didn't help, Rick, but didn't you see the video where he spent less than 60 seconds helping unload a truck at in Louisiana?
Oh, yeah.
I bet that one case of Play-Doh helped a lot.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Are you sure there wasn't building blocks?
So yeah, the what I've seen, of course, on memes on Facebook running around about how our President Obama is on vacation and did not go to the flood or help or go check out the area of the flood and the devastation in Louisiana.
And Hillary Clinton's resting, and she couldn't be bothered to go down and help. Yeah, that's all you see right now.
But what are they going to do? I mean, do any of them drive like heavy equipment? Do they build anything? No. What are they going to go down there and help? They're going to shake hands and have an opportunity for a photo op. Is that what this is going to come down to?
It's no different than you and I. If we're on vacation, what are we going to do to help a problem back at our facility?
You're going to get a hold of somebody.
Other people are going to take care of it. You're going to make your phone calls, and other people are going to take care of it, and that's what's being done.
Right, and the governor had asked our president not to go down there, at least for a couple weeks, to keep the roads clear, so any of the extra police or the National Guard didn't have to pull off of helping people to protect the president. But Trump, of course, in his wisdom, decided to go ahead and go down anyway.
He's a brilliant man.
And then another news, a man who identified himself as being half Indian was escorted out of a Donald Trump rally because he was labeled as a protester, that he had been at other rallies and protested. And so then security surrounded him. He was up in the front row, several people pointing at him. Surrounded him, kicked him out, said they knew who he was, even though he claimed to not be at any rally before. Later in an interview that was on CNN, said that he believes that he was only kicked out just because he was brown.
And that brings an important point, and I'm glad that you brought that up, Roy. There's a video, hopefully I can share with you and put it on this page, of Trump rallies and some of the, and once again, I'm in complete disbelief that at this day and age that there are people out there that are really hateful towards others, and it's just not. It's a very graphic video. It's upsetting, but if those are the kind of people that you want to surround yourself with, and you call yourself a Trump supporter, just please don't speak to me. Do us both a favor.
Yep, and pulled down a video of a back in '97 of a Mad TV clip. So we'll take a break now and have Sean put that clip in.
Take back America to 1955. Take back America to when God was still alive. Truer words were never spoken or sung. Hi, I'm Darlene McBride. I love this country the way it used to be. Simple-minded with simple values for simple people. But then the big government, the Supreme Court, and those bleeding heart liberals just couldn't leave well enough alone. And now look at it. A big, ugly melting pot just boiling over on what used to be a nice, white stove. That's why I decided to launch my Take Back America tour across this great country. I'll be coming to a city near you, singing inspirational songs filled with traditional values. The Lord loves the NRA, he told me so the other day. He spelled it out in bullets in the sky. He's sitting up in heaven with his AK-47. He's a rough and ready, macho kind of guy. Yeehaw! Excuse me, Mr. Negro, but I'd like to ask you a question. What's so bad about the back of the bus? You still got a seat like the rest of us. I don't understand all the fuss about you sitting in the back of the bus. Nothing Nothing would be finer than to drop a bomb on China in the morning. Nothing would be sweeter than to shoot a welfare cheater in the morning. You know, there's been a lot of talk about the effect of illegal immigration on the overburdened healthcare system. Well, here's my solution. Hey, senorita, put down that fajita. Don't tell me you're eating for two. Before you break water, I've got an order that I'm about to give to you. Get your butt back to Mexico. Adios, and that's that. Get your butt back to Mexico. And then have your bread. Mi casa no es su casa, you hear? Take back America.
Be sure to catch Darlene in these cities on her upcoming tour. Laramie, Dallas, Little Rock, Amarillo, Topeka, Rapid City, Des Moines, Duluth, and Paducah.
Let's take it back, y'all. I look forward to taking back America with you. Remember, folks, it is not too late to give this great country of ours a fresh coat of white paint. And you heard that from me, Darlene McBride.
All right. Back after the break. Don't know if you guys missed it, but did you see the naked Trump statues show up? So, in Seattle, New York, San Francisco, Cleveland, and Los Angeles, nude statues of Trump showed up. Reading an article about it, said that it was titled "The Emperor Has No Balls."
Yeah.
And the let's say the hands didn't match the member. If the statue's true. New York City Parks released a statement saying that it stands firmly against any unpermitted erection in city parks, no matter how small.
Yeah.
In other Trump news, that they had said that the New York Times reports that Trump's failing Atlantic City casino racked up a staggering $30 million in unpaid taxes. More taxes with Trump.
Unpaid.
Imagine that.
Unpaid. Well, we'd probably see some more if he'd release his taxes.
He's probably going to want to bail out.
Which I've seen the IRS. The IRS did make a statement saying even if you are audited, you can release your taxes. So he just doesn't want to release them. So again, that was in New Jersey at the Atlantic City casino. $30 million unpaid taxes. Shortly after Chris Christie took office, $25 million of the tax burden was conveniently written off. They said it's unclear from public records whether Christie personally was involved, but the deal was clearly struck in the upper echelons of the New Jersey government. So there's that businessman making deals.
Yep.
Yeah, and Christie was probably stuck in traffic again.
Oh, I'm sure he wasn't. just a general, right?
Yeah.
New York Times is reporting that Trump has hired Roger Ellis, the ousted Fox News head guy. Apparently, maybe he's going to help with debating women, since he's gotten lots of sexual harassment allegations against him.
And also, Trump's the guy. Like he was like, he's trying to pick his cabinet now. Like, I don't know if you guys heard the piece on I want to say it was on CNN, but he's asking. He's giving an interview, and all of a sudden he was like, well, this is who I want. I can pick my cabinet right now. And they're like, no, that's not the way it works, buddy. That's scary, to sit there and say, I'm going to pick my cabinet right now, and you don't even know if you've won, it's not a good thing,
It's going to be with his kids. I mean, it's got to be obvious. He's going to fill it with his kids. They took up most of the convention.
Well, and don't forget, what is it? 4 guys named Steve. That's the same that's on his economic policy team too.
Yeah.
And one of his guys that he's hiring is huge supporter of right to work, and it's not good.
Oh, Trump is too. He says he gets along with unions. But he said I'm 100% right to work.
Right to work. Yep.
So, no.
Jill Stein, which is the presidential candidate for the Green Party, her vice president, her running mate, pick for vice president, has come out to say that in a statement that he called Barack Obama Uncle Tom, president, is what is quoted here. Not sure what she's thinking, but I think you picked the wrong person.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Let's see. Another news, probably should have inserted this at a different part of the show, but on The Daily Show, there was members of USW local where they got interviewed on. They are the workers from Carrier, and they were asked about Trump. So we will, since Sean, the editor, has shown me how to link Facebook post from my personal page to the Steel Revolution page. I'll get that up and post it on Facebook.
And also, if you guys could, it would definitely benefit me as well. Us. If you could, maybe put something on there, because I'm going to need some people to come and volunteer. Phone banking for a few hours, maybe 2 hours. I know everybody's time is precious, but I'm also going to, call upon the union and its members to, do some door knocking too. So, like I said, it's going to be good. It's going to be great. We'll have some fun and maybe some pizza or something.
How do you want them to get a hold of you, Rick?
They can get a hold of me either through here at the local hall where I'll be at, pretty much for right now, because this thing's just kind of getting momentum. But they can contact me in my cell phone.
Let's have them contact Terry at the hall and get a hold of you, and then you can call them back and we can set this up. So.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll have you write some more articles in the Forerunner, and then you can we could set up times in that and get it out that way and get people to volunteer.
Yep.
Wrote my first article.
You're already ahead of 2/3 of the people down here.
Well, then Pat had to hurry up and write another one so he could stay one ahead of Rick.
So like I said, I'm definitely going to be calling on local members of 105. So get ready to knock some doors and call some people.
Sounds good to me.
All right, another news, in case you guys missed it, the Justice Department now plans to stop using private prisons.
So what is the difference? I'm not very familiar with the prison system. So
that's not what we hear.
Oh, hey. Let's keep this. Let's keep this professional. So what's the biggest difference?
I guess you got the private prisons that are for-profit prisons.
And who owns those?
Private corporations.
Private corporations, yeah.
Okay. Now I've heard a lot of of companies hire these prisons to make I guess there's a pretty high, visible lingerie company that I heard that there was is it Dell Computers, I believe. I know it's a big electronics, whether it's HP or Dell. I know that they use some of these prisons too. So I don't know if you guys know a little bit more about that.
I think I saw something like that on Orange is the New Black.
Hey, that show's good.
Yeah, I think there is definitely some controversy in using prison labor to work because they're not being paid, what normal wages would be, or less than minimum wage, isn't it?
It is a lot less than minimum wage. A lot.
So in this report, the Justice Department had found that private prisons are more violent than federal prisons, understaffed. Said that there is over 22,000 federal inmates in private prisons. So anyway, the Department of Justice doing the right thing, moving it to federal prisons to not be part of the for-profit prison system.
So are they going to? So is the government going to take these prisons over, or what are they going to do?
I think what they're doing is they're not going to take them over, but they'll have more of. If you're federal. Convicted federally, you're not going to go to a for-profit. You go to a federal prison, not that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Do they have showtime there?
I doubt it.
Okay, I don't want to go then.
All right, for the corporations are coming. You miss it. The next time you take your family, your wife out to eat, you might want to stay away from places like Longhorn Steakhouse, the Olive Garden, Darden Restaurants, which also owns Bahama Breeze, Seasons 52, Eddie V's, Prime Seafood, Capital Grill,
Red Lobster,
Yard House. It says doesn't pay their workers with cash or checks, but pays them on a debit card.
I think that was started by McDonald's and then quickly taken over by them.
That's what in reading this article, that's what I remember. I remember McDonald's doing it.
Yep.
So the cards cost the employer $2.75 less per pay period, but the workers will pay as much as $1.75 in fees to withdraw their money from out-of-work ATMs, 75 cents to check the balance, 99 cents if you use it to pay a utility bill, and an additional 50 cents of the debit card if it's declined at the register.
What?
It's
How is this legal?
It is.
It-
It's they're allowed to do it. And I just have a hard time believing that it's cheaper than direct deposit. I understand payroll checks cost money, but number one, they don't cost that much. Number two, what does direct deposit cost you? It can't. I just.
Wow.
This is bullshit.
Yeah, this is horrible. I mean, shit. I mean, if you just add it up right there, it's like what? 2, 3.
Yeah, I mean, if you're working at one of these restaurants, you're not making $30 an hour. You're making minimum wage or less if you're a server.
Yeah, it says in here $2.13 an hour on some
Yeah.
of these places is what you're getting because you're living off the tips.
So then one transaction, you're losing an hour's worth of pay.
Right, and so the who gets the big windfall is the banks that are partnered up with these corporations that get $1.75 per card. So when you look at the this company, Darden, that has roughly 70,000 workers paid on debit cards, that brings a $1.5 million a year to the bank that they get the debit card through.
That's just. I mean, that's horrible. I mean, you got to really feel for those workers. I mean, that's really bad. I mean, shame on them. I mean, really. I mean, they don't make as much money as most people. Obviously, they're not in the union, so yeah, it's just a shame.
So yeah, I mean it's horrible. I mean those are your wages. You should get all of them,
Absolutely.
all of it. But you're not. You're helping the banks out, to whoever partnered up with this corporation.
Do you know if they have a choice to whether to get paid? Like, is that a choice? Are they given an option to either use the debt? No,
that's how they're paid. You're paid here.
Oh.
This is how you get your pay. That's it.
I wouldn't work there.
Yeah. So there's with this type of business, just imagine what you're going to get when you have a businessman running the country.
Absolutely.
All right.
So we're there.
I believe that wraps it up.
Not quite.
We have one more thing to get done.
Douche of the week.
Douche of the week, douche of the show. Douche of the week will definitely happen once we make sure we're here every week.
We got an extra vote here too, so
We do. Trump's been there before. Rauner's been there before. Steve King's been there before. I mean, to me, I think the nomination goes to Darden Restaurants.
Absolutely.
That's what I'm gonna say. The owner, Bill Darden. Let's give it to him.
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
Unanimous.
Yep.
All right.
Douche of the week. Thanks for listening.
To number 6.
Thanks for having me, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on, Rick, being the first guest.
Yeah, it's an honor. Do I get a placard or something? Picture taken? Something?
No, you just got this.
Okay.
We'll see you next week.
See ya.
This has been Steel Revolution. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steel Revolution Podcast. Questions or comments, email us steelrevolution105@gmail.com. Steel Revolution is a production of Steelworkers 105, Bettendorf, Iowa. Steel Revolution.